In my last video, many of you suggested I move to America and become American. But guys, I'm already American. I was trying to spread the freedom up north. But so many of you insist I move back down and bring all my stuff. Time to do crime, I guess. Welcome to TFL Design. My name is Phoenix, and yes, I am Canadian. But I was American first, and still am. Before I dive into things, I'd like to thank the people commenting with concerns and jokes regarding my last video about the Canadian gun bans. I'd like to clarify some things that may or may not have been clear. Currently, the newly banned guns in Canada, mainly my rifles in my collection, cannot be taken out of the house and used. They can stay within my home and serve as giant paperweight, as I mentioned. There's currently no buyback program, and many are hopeful that a new party in government will reverse the change that once again did not come from legislation or debate. It was in orders in council. The previous Canadian handgun bans meant there can be no new handgun owners, but I am grandfathered in and can take my handguns to the range to use. However, they cannot be sold, transferred, or sent anywhere after the owner dies. As a matter of fact, Canadians were never allowed to send AR-15s and Chinese guns to America to begin with. That's always been the case. So the 60% unusable firearms I own do not include my usable but banned handguns. It's confusing for Americans, I know. But if we count my banned handguns, then yes, most of what I own has the ban hammer sticker on it. And as a law-abiding citizen of Canada, all of my restricted firearms are registered, meaning the government already knows I own these. There were a lot of comments implying there was a danger to showing all of them, but I assume most of those comments were coming from Americans. And my fellow Americans, let me just say that I hear your cries and pleas and jokes. And while I myself like to poke fun of my Canadian husband for being Canadian, I do think there is a logistical problem to instantly resorting to crime at the behest of all the people shouting for revolution and revolt. As I stated in my last video, I do not want to bring politics into my channel, not because it's not important, it's very important. It's because people of opposing sides tend to instantly repel any ideas or conversations and resort to caricatures of groups they aren't familiar with. It happens with everyone. I myself, as an American, thought all Canadians were just syrup-drinking ice fishers that play hockey all day. I didn't even know they had a thriving gun community. Not until I got to know them. And that, my friends, is where I want to focus my efforts on. Because there is one thing I found super disappointing with all the stats that came with my last video. It's the fact that 100% of the people that commented or viewed my video were men. Where are all the women, and why aren't they also sympathetic to my loss? Did it not make it into their YouTube algorithm? If we want to change hearts and minds, we need to approach this conversation in a way that they can digest. And being a criminal with guns just plays into the hands of anti-gunners. I want to show them that I am a normal citizen with hobbies that may be different from what they're used to, but can still be enjoyable to a woman, and I'm not just talking about making my stuff all pink. Color coordination can only go so far. I think there are plenty of rightfully angry owners out there that use the discussion of self-defense, rights, etc. in their approach. However, my channel is small as hell and won't exactly add to that. I'm rather useless there. However, I'd like to grow my channel in a way that supports these hobbies of mine in a way that normalizes the law-abiding citizens that own firearms. And there's the key difference. We are law-abiding citizens. I cannot stress the importance of reiterating that to the public. The immediate turn to revolt is very much an American thing, one that burns passionately at my core as an American that knows how the country was formed and of the relationships within it. However, I live in Canada and own Canadian guns, so I will adhere to my Canadian senses and laws for what I own up here. Why don't I just move back to America, you say? Well, I can't bring my guns legally, so there's that. Also, I have so much other stuff that makes it really hard for me to move, like my decent paying job, my home, my enormous collection of anime, game, and movie figurines, free healthcare I barely use. Guys, there are benefits to living in Canada, I promise you. Yes, they do feel highly annexable, as I remind my husband of this every night before I sleep as I slide my little American flag inch by inch over to his side of the bed. Now, before my American Southerners and Midwesterners jump into the comments section and point and laugh at New York, I'd like to remind you that New York City is vastly different from upstate New York. While I grew up in the city, I went to get my hunting license in upstate New York when I was 13, and people there were very different from the city area. They explained how hunting was how they brought food to the table sometimes, and I felt a sense of community and calm understanding of respect. And that's what I love about this sport. Not hunting. I'm too lazy to get up in the AMs to hunt for gamey tasting meat. I much prefer domesticated beef, bacon, and chicken. I'm talking about plinking at a range for hours against paper and steel. I like the feeling of zen as I hone in on this skill and improve my accuracy on a crisp autumn day. Steady my breathing as I take a few minutes to hit a target of a few hundred yards. It's so relaxing. It's totally not the adrenaline-inducing scenario many people outside the sport think it is, and the Canadian gun community are one of the friendliest people I've ever met. I don't like talking to people in general, being an introvert, but opening up to talk about firearms and allowing them to shoot from my collection, as they allow me to shoot stuff that I don't own from their collection, is such a great way to make friends. We laugh and cheer together as new experiences are formed, and we urge each other to try new things. I'm a rather small Asian woman, but I pride myself in my ability to have a faster draw than my husband and his friends, and have a faster average firing speed. Maybe it's due to the fact that I played musical instruments for most of my life. I have better rhythm. Either way, it's one of the places I can compete on even grounds with my guys, and my small stature and strength doesn't get in the way. It's either this or gaming. I will destroy any of them in 1v1 in Overwatch. But back to what I hope to have this channel turn into. No, I will not suddenly stop showing and buying firearms related stuff. Are you kidding me? It's 2/3 of my online personality. It's all I have going for me. Thank you to the new subscribers to my channel who are sympathetic to my plight. If anything, I hope to document this journey as insight to Americans who wish to see the process of a diminishing firearms community in a relatively similar country that it neighbors. I'd say America and Canada are siblings and they share a rich history together. So like family, we will poke and make fun of them. At least that's what I tell myself when I'm wiggling in front of my husband chanting USA, USA, USA. And once again, I am really not talking about politics here. I am too ill-informed to dive into that route, and I don't aim to change people's minds in the form of berating or belittling. It would just be an echo chamber of like-minded individuals and not reach outside the community. Like, yes, I've managed to reach people that agree my guns shouldn't be taken away, but you're not really the people I should talk to. I need to invite more people to the range and show them a good time and enlighten them about the culture. If I can engage people who do not usually partake in this sport and disarm them mentally and show this community in a new light, then maybe I'll add more than just my voice to the cause. I'll add theirs. And it won't work through initiating a conversation about politics. It'll have to be through my feminine wiles and normalization of a hobby usually not seen paired with someone of my demographic. I'm not trying to trick anyone into anything. This is clearly a fashion channel. I clearly don't go out much, and when I do touch grass, it's the grass on a gun range. I do my few hours on a Sunday, practice my aim, then go home and prepare to be a productive Canadian citizen the next day as I work a 9 to 5. Unlike America, you need to be licensed to own, and that process can take a year or two. No one that does this as a sport is using it for crime. Those are all illegal firearms. Surely the Canadian public knows this and aren't susceptible to performative acts, right? Right? I want this channel to only talk about stuff I like, and I like my guns. They're a great hobby. More women should get into it. But I don't know, guys, this packing for America thing isn't working out. Guess I'll continue to live in Canada and figure things out, instead of leaving when things get tough for Canadians. Gotta be there to support my poor, oppressed Canadian husband, you know?